What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. There is a massive recruiting weekend going on right now with JUJU Lewis being the head of this recruit week, and we got to talk all about it. Are they able to land? JUJU Lewis, he's coming off an Auburn visit where he had a fantastic time. It looks like Auburn's in the driver's seat at the moment outside of USC. So we got to talk about that. Then some interesting data points was released by Strength and Conditioning, and I love digging into the data and showing you what it means. And of course, the mad rumor that's been going around, most people have already addressed it. We're going to quickly glance over before we get into any of that, though. Roll the intro, baby. I flush my kids down in the club. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I have been gone for a couple of weeks now, had a family reunion, then I'm coming off now a sickness for this past week. So it's been a fun couple of weeks. Obviously, we've been out, but feels good to be back in the saddle. Plan to hit the ground running and keep this bad boy rolling. So let's talk about, again, the big time recruiting weekend that is happening in Colorado right now. You see the list of guys that got right here. In Chauncey Gooden, 4-star offensive lineman. Gwinnell X, a 4-star wide receiver. Evan Hayes, 3-star wide receiver, alongside Mantrez Walker, Colorado commit 4-star linebacker. And of course, JUJU Lewis are all there this weekend. And when I tell you all hands are on deck, all hands are on deck, as we've got a local restaurant to seek. They have named a burger after JUJU Lewis, JUJU Precision Pass Burger. I mean, my goodness, talk about a town coming together to go all in on a guy because they realize what JUJU Lewis will do to the program of Colorado, the state of Colorado, the program of Boulder, Colorado. It would be absolutely insane. And again, you might think, well, they've got Shador and they've got Travis Hunter. Yes, these guys are big time studs, but they're already there. They need the splash factor to continue to happen to keep that momentum that they're capitalizing on headed into this year. And I actually work on a video that I'm going to drop tomorrow discussing the breakdown of the defensive line, the secondary. PFF dropped their top players in the Big 12, and it's very interesting to see where Colorado lands with all of that. So be sure to turn the bell on and keep your eyes and ears peeled for that because it will be coming out tomorrow. Today we're talking all things recruiting, of course. But JUJU Lewis, again, coming off his Auburn visit just this past weekend, and said Auburn made a huge splash, had a huge impact on him, and really moved mountains and waves. And again, if you're not familiar with recruiting or following it, Auburn had one hell of a recruiting class last year when it comes to wide receivers, landing some of the top 5 wide receivers last year, easily one of the top 3 wide receivers last year in their 5-star guys. So they've got some studs there, all primed and ready for i.e. JUJU Lewis. And what's great about Auburn, and again, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but Auburn obviously being an SEC caliber school, Power 5 conference in the SEC, they're kind of in a question mark at quarterback position. They got Peyton Thorne there going into his last year, so he'll be gone, opening up the doors for JUJU Lewis. Now, and again, the reason I bring that up because Colorado's big point of emphasis is him able to play right away. And you're able to go play at somewhere like an Auburn that had a pretty healthy recruiting class. There's going to be some areas of fighting that you're going to have to go with. And again, you have to expect that with Colorado and Coach Prime, but they're doing everything in their power this week. We got everybody tweeting out it's going to be a movie. It's going to be a big weekend. I'm excited to hear what is to come from this. I know we'll get interviews from JUJU and the staff talking about how this weekend's going to go after the fact to see how much closer they're able to get on JUJU Lewis. And if they make any headway, again, this is going to be his third, I believe, visit, not his first official visit, which is a big factor. We've talked about it before on the show. The difference between official and unofficial is official visit. Colorado takes care of everything. They're able to necessarily lay out the red carpet and treat him like royalty. Unofficial, there's certain things they can't do. There's certain rules they have to follow. It's technically on JUJU's budget, so it's more of just their interest when it's an unofficial. An official visit, again, you're getting treated like true royalty, getting showed all behind the scenes asset access, which I'm sure they already have, but they're really able to do an in-deep dive and really, really recruit JUJU Lewis and show him what he's going to mean to Colorado. And I love, again, the surrounding restaurants like the Sink here, putting it all in here, naming a burger after him, saying here's what it could be. Again, you a JUJU Lewis goes to a place like Colorado, you're getting a statue built. It is what it is. Like this is an opportunity for you to come and become one of those guys. Again, I'm not saying he's gonna get a statue, but you know what I'm talking about. Like you have an opportunity here to pave the way and be one of the Colorado greats for years to come. So let's talk about this. I love data. I love digging into it. And again, a big push for Colorado. And you hear about guys leaving and going to the transfer portal. And you hear the guys like Travis Hunter and Shador and Shiloh talking about, like, look, they just don't want to handle the NFL style. We're handling ourselves like professionals around here. And not everybody can handle that. And this is right here kind of staying on par with that. And again, the reason I wanted to bring this up and why it correlates with recruiting is because you're seeing what two guys right here that, again, a Travis Hunter and a Shador Sanders, what they bring to the table in these numbers that you're looking at. And what I love is they compare these numbers to NFL numbers. So peak power here is up to 19%, the top 50% of NFL wide receivers slash DBs. This is again for Travis Hunter. Of course, we know what Travis is playing and in his focus that he needs to focus on going into next year, again, because he's going into his NFL style type of year. So this is the second year in this system, and see the amount of progress they've made. And a lot of this data is coming from just March, I believe. So just in a couple of months, how much they've made. Power cleans up 55 pounds, weight gained up 17 pounds, jump height top 25% of the NFL for wide receivers, for NFL or DBs and wide receivers. Eccentric power 102%, top 5% of all NFL athletes. Let that sink in. A junior, Travis Hunter, has an eccentric power of 102% in the top 5% of all NFL athletes. And again, you're talking about a guy that works like nobody's business. You hear about Coach Prime talking about it all the time. That plays a huge factor. But again, numbers like these, if I'm a recruit coming into this, speak volumes to me because, and this is something that Coach Prime and the guys have been preaching is, look, I want to make sure that you get taken care of by NIL. I want to make sure that you get paid. We may not have the same resources at other schools to give you a big time deal, but my goal is to make sure you sign the biggest deal when you get to the NFL. That first round draft pick, that's where the true money comes into play, that guaranteed money. If you ever looked at the first round draft pick, that 32nd to that second round first round pick, the amount of money that's guaranteed, it's pretty massive. It could be life-changing for some people depending on the position that you're in. So that's very huge. And numbers like these is what allows for you to be a top 10 draft pick. And again, I think we all realize Shador and Travis will be in the top 10 picks for coming into next year. You've got Shador over here and bench press up 25 pounds, peak power up 25%, season game, I don't know what that number is, season game availability 92%, broad jump 7.5 inches, eccentric power 118%, top 25% of NFL quarterbacks. And again, he's still growing, he's still building, still working on that, but absolutely a massive number there. And again, that just speak to someone like a JUJU Lewis. Travis Hunter status should speak to a lot of DBs and wide receivers. Again, this is a guy that's playing on both positions. So love these numbers here. Would love to see a lot of numbers from the D line and the offensive line. Again, we're going to talk about the D line and that defense tomorrow more on that video. But a lot of great stuff. Hamstring shrink 6%. That is above NCAA positional average. No clue how you even track those numbers, but I love it. I love getting into the nitty gritty and tapping into those things. So figured you guys might enjoy these numbers and find them very intriguing. And again, it's just, to me, it's another big selling point of what they're doing. Of again, we speak about going to the NFL and pushing these guys to the NFL. We're going to compare ourselves to the NFL. That's what we're matching up against. That's where we want to be. Now, let's talk about the rumors here. I was kind of annoyed because it's like it's so slow, right? You see it. It's football season. It's so slow that they've got to make up these crazy stories where Coach Prime was forcing players to go to Shador Sanders' concert, and if he didn't, he was kicking them out. Look, I can't complain because I'm fortunate enough to have my platform, right? Because of this, we're able to talk about it and do these things. But also, it's like almost everyone has a platform, and it's crazy how false news travels faster than good positive news. And that's kind of where we're at, where it's like if it's got a smell to it and we can run with it, we can. It's like I hate even having to bring it up and talk about it. But it was such a big topic, and I was like, all right, we'll wrap it up with the end of the show. But Colton went on the show with Dukes the Scoop and said, look, that was madness. That was nonsense. Kind of it cleared the smoke. And again, that's, to me, if you're going to write a story, you got to go get some other perspectives. You can't just take from what a disgruntled player or something like that left and ran with it. Unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles, and these articles are just able to rip out now, and they catch smoke and get legs when they probably shouldn't. But all in all, a good week. Something else I wanted to note before I let you guys go that I noticed, I watch the Well-Off Media as a lot. I'm sure you guys do. It's fantastic content. And watching the offensive line just interact with one another, it kind of gives you this vibe. And again, I'm sure the vlogging, the documentation of Well-Off Media, it makes a lot of people uncomfortable because it just feels like it's flashy and it's TV and it's not your typical way of college football. But again, to me, it's another aspect of getting them ready for the next level. And what I mean by that is you've got NFL Films, you've got Hard Knocks, where TV crews are constantly around you. And if you can make that a norm quicker, sooner rather than later, you just create again a more professional aura around the program. And watching these guys interact, the O line, just talk to one another, kind of hold each other accountable. It doesn't, maybe like a year ago, it felt a little forced, right? You've got kids that are not used to the camera and they're trying to be cool and do these things. And sometimes it's a little what. These guys are all business. They're all dialed in. They understand what the camera is. It's just another part. It's just part of them now. And it was really cool to watch. It's cool to watch this unfold as I've been watching over the last year, as a lot of you have. And this is something I wanted to notate that I noticed. I think it's very cool to see the progress and to see the growth of the team just by how they're managing themselves through social media. It's very impressive. So all in all, good stuff. We'll see how this weekend rolls out. Again, a big video coming out tomorrow, breaking down the PFF scores and how it looks and how Colorado's going to line up in the Big 12, something I've kind of been alluding to, but I love having data to back up how we're feeling at times. So we'll go over that. If you guys enjoy the content, you know what to do. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.